Hi all, in this video we're playing Warhammer 40K Darktide, a co-op horde battle FPS, and we're talking about specialists. This game is an absolute blast. I think it's just so much fun, but there's a lot going on and it can be pretty overwhelming when you're first learning the ropes. So in this guide I'll be introducing each of the enemy specialist units and how to identify them so you can maximize your chances of staying alive in a war against the heretics. If you're here watching this video for info on a specific unit, each specialist is timestamped in the description below, so feel free to take a look down there and jump around to the parts you need. For everyone else, I have them listed roughly in threat level, ranked by me, starting with those I find the most dangerous. Starting off the list, we have the Trapper. The specialist, I'd argue, is the most likely source of a team wipe, and therefore the most deadly. These wannabe FBI goons have the ability to instantly down you in a net, leaving you helpless and requiring one of your teammates to come and rescue you before you're killed. They can shoot multiple nets with just a short delay between shots, meaning they can take out multiple full health party members in just seconds if you're not careful and you don't prioritize killing them. And since they're so easy to kill when spotted, you should definitely prioritize them. Their audio cues can be easily lost in the noise of a horde if you're not listening for them, but they are very distinct. You can hear them breathing and muttering as they approach, and you can also hear the electric zap of them charging up their net gun. There's also a very loud and distinct trigger noise as they fire their net. If you hear a net firing and you don't have eyes on the Trapper, you can try just blindly dodging to the side and it might save you from getting downed. Because your teammates need to physically get to you to save you from a net, being the last one down off a ledge at a level transition is a very dangerous position to be in if a Trapper sneaks up on you, as it's a guaranteed death. So be sure to stick with the team and not linger behind too long. Similar to the Trapper, but slightly less dangerous, is the Pox Hound. These freaky disease dogs will pounce on you and instantly incapacitate you until a teammate staggers or kills the Hound. Luckily, they can only incapacitate one party member at a time, and they're extremely easy to notice. An unmissable howl rings out when a Hound spawns on the level. And they will growl, bark, and make heavy footfall noises as they approach. Where these things surpass the Trapper in danger is in their agility, extra health, and straight up bananas pathing that makes them extremely hard to avoid, dodge, and kill from a distance. And since their pathing allows them to sometimes bounce off walls or just fall out of the sky, don't go wandering alone no matter how good you think you are. Always buddy up. Next up we have the Sniper. A badly timed sniper left unattended can single-handedly wipe an entire squad in seconds. They have pinpoint accuracy at range with rounds that penetrate almost everything and do a metric ton of damage. They also make no noise when they spawn or as they approach. So the best way to spot a sniper before he shoots is by seeing his tracer laser tracking through the air. Luckily, he has two unmistakably recognizable audio cues, and hopefully you're still alive after you hear the first ones ring out. His shots sound like this. And if you're the target of his attack, right before the shot, you'll hear a noise sounds like this. This pre-fire noise is also accompanied by a visual cue, which is a bright white flash of light. There is a fairly consistent way to dodge sniper fire. It's tempting to want to dodge right when you see his targeting laser bead onto you, but you want to wait a moment longer until the moment you see the white flash of light and or hear the pre-fire noise. When a sniper appears, sharpshooters and psychers should prioritize them over pretty much anything else that might be happening, while zealots and ogrins protect their aforementioned teammates from close-range threats. The Pox Burster. These gross-out Michelin men are suicide bombers, beelining straight to your party to dive in and cause havoc. They explode in an AoE that causes a good amount of damage and corruption to everyone in the vicinity, and also knocks you back from the blast spot. This can easily knock you off ledges to your death or push you out of position into the middle of a horde, or generally just ruin your day. You can easily tell when one spawns and is approaching you when you hear a sinister tick-tock that speeds up as it gets closer and closer to the party. Try to spot them early and pick them off from a distance, but if one does make it close to you, you can block and push them with a melee weapon right as they dive into you, and then dodge backwards as they explode. Next up we have the Bomber. Bombers have an unhealthy obsession with Molotov cocktails, and they would just love to share it with you. If the map is quiet, you can hear the grenades on their vests jing-jangling as they jog around the map looking for you. Most of the time, though, you'll just hear the ping of them pulling the pin out of their grenade just before they throw it, followed by the whir of it flying through the air towards you. When it lands, you'll have just a moment to run and dodge out of the way before it creates a pool of fire on the ground. Fire is especially dangerous in this game because it will immediately destroy all your toughness in the first tick, leaving you totally defenseless against everything else in the game. The fire will then also quickly chip your health down if you don't move out of it immediately. Speaking of fire, this next specialist just wants to watch the world burn, the Tox Flamer. They come in two varieties, armored and armorless, but they are pretty interchangeable. Both want to barbecue you and your friends with long lines of flame that leave an area of liquid hot denial in your way for several seconds. You can hear them coming by listening for the maniacal ranting about flames consuming you. And also the tick 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 of a propane gas grill firing up. Right before they blast their flames at you, you can also hear their flamethrower whoosh as it winds up. The Mutant is summed up by the Sharpshooter pretty well.
Almost all no brain!
These big brutes let out a huge roar and can then be heard pounding feet as they charge directly towards their prey, who they then proceed to throw around like a rag doll. Their flailing and smashing does a decent bit of damage, but the biggest potential danger is the direction they decide to toss you in after. They can toss you right off a cliff or into any number of unsavory places. If you time it just right, you can dodge their grab right as they get to you. Always try to dodge them to your left, as they use the giant arm on their left to try to grab you with. Since they tend to run in a straight line directly towards you, it's usually pretty easy to pick them off from a distance, as long as you remember to aim for their head, which is a little bit lower down their body than you initially think. Crushers and Bulwarks are heretical Ogren whose main job is just to get in the way and soak bullets. Both of them can do some decent damage if you get caught between one in a hard place, but their biggest threat is just blocking you from dealing with the deadlier specialists. Neither of these meat mountains have a distinctive audio cue, though when it's quiet you can hear their heavy footsteps and their grunting voices. Audio cues for these guys aren't super necessary though, given their impressive and noticeable frames. Bulwarks wield enormous riot shields and are basically impervious from the front. Even their unarmored face and other tender-looking bits are invincible if their shield is close. Your best bet is to attack them in their unarmored back, or to stagger them to make them temporarily let their guard down. The Crushers are armored head to toe and wield enormous mauls. Weapons without armor penetration basically don't hurt them at all, so bear that in mind when choosing your loadout. The third and final type of evil Ogren is the Reaper, who wields an enormous machine gun. These guys have a subtle but noticeable audio cue of them laughing, followed by their gun cranking up right before they start shooting. Many of them also have a giant red glowing eyepiece, which is basically a neon sign saying, "Please shoot me here." That can be tricky to pull off, however, as their rain of bullets can keep you suppressed and inaccurate for a long time, in addition to causing massive damage if you can't get out of the way. So find cover and aim for the head. Next we have Gunners. Gunners are just slightly bigger hordlings with machine or shotguns. Like the Reaper, they can do decent damage and are also good at keeping you suppressed, which makes it difficult to fight back. They don't have much of an audio cue besides the sound of their guns rattling away as they pour lead into you. Just aim for the head and drop them fast, or hit them with stagger to stop their barrage. Maulers look like welders gone psycho. They wield giant chain axes and aren't afraid to use them. They are almost silent except for the sound of their chain axe buzzing. Also, if it's very quiet on the map, you can sometimes hear them issue a challenge as they engage you.
Fresh sacrifices!
These guys generally tend to come in small packs of 2 to 4 units, so if you see one, look for more. Unlike most enemies, you're going to want to avoid going for the head and go for body shots instead, as their helmets aren't just for show. Last and least, we have the Ragers. These junkies with a need for speed will sprint up to you and try to plant their axes in you. They come in 2 flavors, lemon lime and cola can. Though neither of them make much noise, both are fairly noticeable just by their appearance. They can't do anything until they get right in your face, so just keep your wits about you and spot them early. Like Maulers, they generally come in small packs of 2 to 6, so when you see one, look out for more. They have fairly low health compared to most specialists, making them fairly easy to deal with unless they catch you by surprise. If one is up in your grill, just remember to pull out your melee weapon to block and push them. This will stagger them back and give you enough breathing room to take them out before they re-engage. Alright, that concludes our list of Darktide specialists. Hopefully you feel a bit more prepared to face the hordes of heretics assaulting Tertium. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, and if you enjoy more content from me, please consider subscribing to the channel. And until next time, happy gaming.